2024 has definitely been quite the year, and even so, I still managed to create all of these lovely things we see here beside me. I learned a lot this year. I experimented, I created my own designs and patterns, I did a lot of patchworking, and I made some really delightful things, so let's take a look. So the first thing I made this year is this lovely little blouse. I originally made this as a design to potentially work towards like selling this. I just wanted to design a blouse that I could like make relatively easily and like have different sizes of it, and also like have it be not super like form-fitting, so it would easily fit different sizes. And I was planning on selling this when I was making it, but then I ended up liking it way too much and I just decided to keep it. And it has a lovely little bow closure on the back so you can get your head in. It has puff sleeves and a little flounce. And it's just like super fun to wear. I really need to wear it more often. It's just super cute. Oh, so this is me a couple days after filming the initial video. And while I was filming, I realized I actually left several things back at my parents' house, which are all sitting right here that I made this year. So if you see me looking like this with slightly curlier hair and slightly different lighting, just know that these were items that were forgotten, and I'm just going to cut them in, still like keeping everything in chronological order, but I will probably randomly look like this instead of how I did a couple days ago. So this blouse I made directly after the blue blouse that I just showed, and this one was supposed to be just like a slightly bigger, different version with like shorter sleeves and a longer torso, because my torso is really short, so I wanted this to be able to fit multiple sizes of people. And this one is actually still listed up on my Depop if you are interested. So these I made right after I sold my very first garment ever to a stranger. Also just like sold my very first garment, which I'll be talking more about later at the end of the video. But what I'd sold were a pair of overalls, so I wanted to make another pair to try and sell that were just like slightly bigger. They're obviously too big for me, but I was trying to do like multiple sizes of everything because I'm very more towards the short, very short end of the spectrum of different body sizes. So I wanted these to be able to fit a longer person. So I made these to fit my friend Lily, who is several inches taller than me, and they fit her pretty well. So yeah, I think these are really cute. They obviously haven't sold yet, but this time of year I was really just like experimenting and trying different things, and I really was just focusing on making stuff to try to sell and get out into the world. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun making these. I think they're really cute, and I hope maybe someone will buy them eventually. Very comfy too. The next project that I made were these pants. Technically these two pairs of pants. So first came these ones, which they're very wrinkly because I just washed them, and which were a precursor to making these. So last winter I had a vision of pink pants, pink trousers, like pink jeans, because I saw this one girl on Pinterest wear them and they just looked so cool, and I was like, I want some pink pants. Anyway, I tried like looking up some online, and I was kind of just like, I don't know. And I knew I wouldn't be able to like just find some in a thrift store. And so I was like, well, guess that means I have to make them. So I did make a whole video about this, but long story short, I got some fabric and I was like, oh great, I can make some trousers with these. And I really didn't look at how much fabric I got because I just got like a chunk of it at the thrift store. It was a tablecloth. I got home and I started to go making the pants, and there wasn't enough. So I was really bummed, but I still wanted to make trousers that day because I had the whole day to sew. So I made these. And these turned out pretty good. I honestly kind of like these ones better than the pink ones. And my whole experiment for these was adding side pockets like this, because I've always thought, why don't pants have pockets on the side of your leg? Because then you're not sitting on them, and then it's not getting in the way of like your leg bending. So that was the whole experiment with these pants. So I made these. Turned out pretty good. They fit pretty well. I did one side pocket just as an experiment, and also because I didn't feel like doing two. Hello, Figgy. Anyway, I made these, and then I ended up going to Joann's and getting this fabric, and I love the fabric, but I used a pattern for these pants that I already had. And my problem with these pants is just the waist just doesn't fit right. Like there's all this extra space here, And they do have elastic in the back, but it's just not tight enough. And if I were to make it tight, like they're already hard to get on, like over my hips. So if I were to make them tighter, I feel like they'd just be even harder to get on. I really wanted like pink jeans, I think. And these are definitely trousers. And they are good. And I like them. They're just not what I wanted them to be. And I think that's almost worse than them turning out bad. Yes, they're okay and they turn out good, but they're just kind of because they're not what I wanted them to be. I still love the color. I still love this fabric. So I'd like to try again this year and do what I really wanted was like a fly. I just didn't have a pattern. Oh, Dig, hey. I'd like to try again making pants this year and doing a zipper fly, which I have never done before. I don't think it's that hard to make like the same exact thing, but with a zipper fly. They're good. They're just not what I wanted them to be. So next up is this dress that I made for my sister's murder mystery party. And we each had like different characters, and my character was the dove. So this is my dress. I made this like as a costume, but I also made it just because I knew I would wear it again. I love this dress so much. Sleeves, absolutely magical. The fit turned out really good. And I still have these sewn on, which I was planning on taking them off. And I probably will eventually, but like, they might as well just stay here for the dove part of the costume. I also made this mask out of hot glue, which I think turned out pretty cool to be the dove. And oops, I just love this dress so much. I really like how well the bodice fits, and I am wearing a petticoat under this, but this is 2 half circle skirts, or maybe just, no, I think it's just 1 half circle skirt, a little bit gathered. My only complaints about this dress are that, 1, I did not take any pictures in this dress at all, even though I'm like so proud of it and I love it so much. Like, this is the only time I've worn it since that party, and that was in March. It's like literally almost a year ago. My other complaint is that I kind of wish I'd made it a little bit better. Like, I did it a little quickly and I just used like my serger for everything, and I did line the bodice and I did hand sew all the buttonholes, but like part of it just feels like a little cheaply made to me for some reason. I don't really know why. Like, I kind of wish I would have finished it a little better. Not that like a serger's bad. A serger is a fantastic tool. It's just sometimes it feels like a little bit like cheating. Anyway, I love this dress. I really need to find somewhere to wear it to. Maybe I could just wear it even to church if I take the little flutter wings off. I just feel like a princess in this dress. You know that's a good thing when you make a dress and you feel like a princess automatically in it. So the next 2 projects go together, and there's a video for both of these. I made them at the same time. The first one is this quilt jacket that I made out of a thrifted quilt. And this was another one that I had like really high expectations for, but kind of didn't turn out like the way I was planning. Like this, I think it turned out exactly the way I was thinking. I just don't really see myself like actually wearing it out in public. Like, maybe I should. It is cool. And maybe I was just thinking maybe if I made it a little bit smaller, even like I feel like the sleeves are still like too big. Like if I just took it in even a little bit more, so it was more like this, like, yeah, honestly, I have a mirror set up right behind the camera that I'm looking at. Honestly, like, even if I just made it like a little bit smaller, like the back just sticks out a lot. And along with this, I made these, which you can't see all the way because the camera was positioned for the quilt jacket. But these are overalls, and wait, let me move you down. These are overalls that were kind of a spur of the moment thing because I realized after making this jacket, just currently on the floor right here, I was like, hey, I have enough fabric for another project. And I do think they turned out really cute. They're just kind of like weird to me, like overalls out of a quilt. Like in theory, you're like, oh yeah, that's cool, but I kind of just look like the Pillsbury Doughboy in these. They just kind of are to me. I'd really like to take this pattern and make just like normal overalls. Okay, one thing I do really appreciate about this jacket is I did make my own little tag for it, and I really like that a lot. I want to do that more. After that, I made this delightful number, which I call this in my head the fairy patchwork dress. So at the end, of 2023, I made my giant patchwork dress, and it was like the first ever patchwork thing I'd ever done, and I just made it in like a fit of inspiration after watching a bunch of From Carly B's videos. And I used up a ton of my scraps, but of course I still had even more, and I wanted to give it another go, but this time do more of a consistent color scheme. So I just did blue, pink, and white, and I love this dress. I just feel like a little garden fairy in it. My favorite part is that the ruffle matches the bodice. And this was a bed sheet, and this is like a magical bed sheet. It has all these lovely flowers, and this is definitely a good one to twirl in. This dress was another experimental dress. I made this right after the fairy patchwork dress. And both of these dresses I made in hopes of selling them, or at least just like posting them. And I was not really like dead set on selling these. I just was having fun and wanted to make stuff and see if anybody else was interested in it. So the front looks pretty normal. I used that same pattern again that I drafted, and I did like little lantern sleeves. But the interesting part of this dress is in the back. So here's the back, and I'm kind of pulling on it a little bit so you can see how it's supposed to look. This was a design and an idea I had up all on my own because I really wanted to do something different than a zipper, because I've been doing so many zippers. So it has buttons all the way down the back, and then it has this opening here, and then it has a bow closure at the top. So the reason I was kind of yanking it up is because it doesn't sit in the right way, and it's just like too low on my back. This, I just like completely drafted it on my own, and I probably should have done a mock-up, but I didn't. I just was like, well, I'm just gonna see if it works, and I made it into a whole dress. So the idea did work, and I love the buttons down the back and everything. It's just the whole like circle opening is just too low, and it needs to be like 3 inches higher. And I totally meant to go back and make another reiteration of this dress because I love the design of it. I just never did. So something I'd probably like to do this year. This dress was a pattern test for Studio Mina Pop, and this is the Ellie Pinafore, which is quite cute. This was the first pattern test I ever did, and I thoroughly enjoyed it and would love to do it again. And this dress is really cute. I do really like it. I don't love the fabric. I just picked it because I had it and it was enough for the pattern. But I would definitely love to make this again in a different fabric, and probably make the skirt a little different. I had to line the skirt, so it kind of just feels a little boxy. But I love the details of this. It has the bows on the side, and underneath here has a little bit of elastic, which I think is super cool. And the instructions and the pattern were really great. I highly recommend checking her out. So this dress was another design that I just had percolating in my brain and then spontaneously made. I love this fabric. This was a bed sheet, and it's just, I love the colors of it. So my idea for this dress, and I think I was vaguely inspired by the Ellie Pinafore with the ties on the side, but I also saw a dress on Pinterest that the waist was cinched in with little bows on the side. Look at how cute that is. That's just really cute. But the outcome of it didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted. It's just, I made it a little too big, so like I kind of just look like a box in it a little bit. I've been meaning to like take apart the skirt and then just take in the bodice a little bit. And because the ties on the side, they're just like taking up in too much fabric, so there's like just too much happening on the sides here. But I did put pockets in it, which I don't really remember doing, but that's always a plus. So the back has a little bow, and I think that's really cute. It's just, I just look sort of wide in it, so I'd like to just take it in so it looks a little less wide. This one was yet another dress I designed. I did use patterns for this dress just because I had a pattern for this bodice that was just exactly what I wanted, and I was like, well, why make up something when there's exactly what I want? So I just used like a tank top pattern, and then for the skirt, I didn't want it to be super full like a circle skirt, but I also didn't want it to be just a rectangle. So I used another skirt pattern that was just a very basic skirt pattern from another dress, and I Frankensteined them together. And my main idea for this dress was to have this elasticated waist, which is super comfy, I love it, and to have a little button opening at the back, which turned out really great. I love this dress so much. It turned out really exactly the way I wanted to. Super comfy, big pockets. The skirt is just flowy enough, but also like not too flowy, so it's still practical. And it like fits great. Like I love it. Like sometimes it's hard to get a dress that fits really great and tight and also is like comfy, and this does both of it with the elastic. Like there's just 2 little rows of elastic here and it's perfect. I've worn it quite a few times and I'm probably going to wear it a lot, especially in the summer, because I made this like towards the end of summer, so I didn't really get to wear it as much as I would have liked, but I've also worn it over a couple sweaters and it's really cute. It's just like the perfect bee dress, I would say. This skirt was yet another spur of the moment project. I was kind of in between projects and I just wanted to make something really simple, and so I made this. It's really cute and very like kind of historical inspired, like 18th century kind of inspired, but with buttons, and it so just feels very hobbity and like little housewife. And I did a lot of hand sewing on this dress. I hand sewed all the buttonholes, all the buttons, and I hand sewed, pretty sure I hand sewed the hem. Did I? Yeah, I did. I did like a really nice thick hand sewn hem. I also hand sewed the waistband to the inside. My only complaint is there's no pockets because I didn't have a ton of this fabric, so I used literally all of it. I also wish I would have put interfacing in the waistband because like anytime I bend over it just kind of folds over onto itself. This dress is 100% my favorite dress I made the entire year. Honestly, it might be my favorite dress I've ever made in my entire life. It turned out exactly the way I wanted it to. I'm so proud of it. I made a whole video about this dress. This dress was a monster to make, but it turned out so lovely. It fits so perfectly. It has so much swoosh and fluff and just pure delight. I love it so much. My original vision for this dress was to make a dress with like a gathered bust and like a fitted waistband. It was definitely a hardship to figure out how the heck to do that because I'd never done it before and I was just winging it. Once I got it to work, it worked so beautifully. I love this dress so much. And I put pockets in it. Where are they? Big boy pockets. It's so comfy. It fits so well. I love it. And I love this fabric. This was literally a bed sheet. It is amazing what bed sheets can do, and this can prove it. So if you ever consider making a dress out of a bed sheet, do it, because look at what it can become. So yeah, I just love this dress so much, and I really don't want to take it off now. So next up is this dress, which is another one that I'm very proud of. This dress took so long to make, not because it was that complicated, just because I was so busy. I was working full time and doing a lot of other stuff that I just like hardly ever had time to work on this. My most proudest feature of this is the back. I just love the buttons and it just fits really well. I just love the way that it looks. I did make a whole video about this dress, but long story short, this was a quilt that I had started making and I just was never going to finish it, so I decided to turn it into this. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I love the colors and I love the fit, and I just think it's really cute. I'm really happy with it. I'm very excited to wear it on picnics next year because I made this like at the very end of summer, so it was kind of, there weren't really any picnics to go to, but I'm definitely going to wear this to a picnic next year. So this blouse was another spontaneous project, and it was also another iteration of that blue blouse that I made at the beginning of the year, except this one's a little different and honestly think it's way nicer. And most of the difference is just in the construction. First of all, instead of just doing a rolled hem on the neckline, I did bias binding, which I think turned out really nicely, and that is also what I use for the ties as well. I also did, I don't know if you can even see it, but I did some top stitching along the seams. I think the fit of this one is just nicer. Like, I really like the sleeves. And like, yeah, I kind of look like a marshmallow, but like a cute marshmallow. I really like this one. I feel like a little flower in this, which is a really nice feeling. So this I made for our annual Hobbit picnic, and I usually make a whole outfit every year, but this year I just made a skirt to go with the bodice I made the year before. And I really like this skirt a lot. I've worn it quite a few times, like outside of the Hobbit picnic. Where's my other pocket? There it is. It's just really nice and comfy, and it has quite big pockets and elastic waist and some pretty good twirl factor. Along with this skirt, I also made this cloak for our Hobbit picnic. I just can't believe I haven't made a cloak for myself yet until this year. I've been wanting one for a really long time. I haven't really found the fabric for one. I also hadn't really been like looking for the fabric for one. I made one for my sister a few years ago, and ever since then I've really been wanting to make one for myself. And I found this fabric at the thrift store that's like a felt sort of thing. It's probably just like polyester, but it's supposed to feel like wool. Look how lovely and dramatic this is. I felt so cool wearing this, and I'm so excited to wear this, and I love the color. This is like one of my favorite colors of red ever. I really want to go take like some super dramatic snowy pictures in this in our new front yard by the creek. Definitely one of my favorite things I made this year, not because of like how well I made it, like my other things, or like just because it's a cloak, and how can you go wrong with a cloak? I love it. Probably gonna wear this for the rest of my life. I feel dramatic. So I didn't technically make this, but I wanted to show it anyway because I altered it. So this used to be just a plain t-shirt that was like really awkwardly long, like it was like down to here. I saw this tutorial on Pinterest on how to do exactly this, and I was like, heck yeah, I'm gonna do that because I will wear something like that all the time. And I made this a couple weeks ago, and I have worn it all the time. I love it and highly recommend. It's like super cute and flouncy and just a delight to wear. So I know I technically didn't make it, but like I also sort of did, so I wanted to show it anyway. Okay, we're on to the last thing, the very last thing that I made this year, which is this skirt for my sister. And this was a Christmas present. She asked for a patchwork skirt, and I made this, and I'm pretty proud of it. And she really likes it, I think. She told me she wore it out thrifting and got several compliments on it, which I think is pretty cool. I just really like the color scheme. Like, I just picked out colors I thought she would like. I think it turned out pretty good. I was going for like Hobbit-y, whimsical. Okay, it's done. This year has been quite the year for me. I've sewn a lot, I've done a lot, and I've definitely learned a lot. And I've done a lot of other things that I haven't even shown yet in this video. I sold my very first ever handmade garment, which was these overalls here that I made out of a vintage bedsheet. I posted them on Depop really just on a whim. I was posting just different things mostly for fun. I didn't really think anyone would actually buy them, but when they did actually sell, I just felt like so honored that someone would want to buy something that I had made. It made me really happy to see someone else, a complete stranger, wearing one of my creations. And I'd love to keep trying out different things to sell this year because it was a lot of fun last year. I also made my first ever commission, which was this patchwork dress. A friend of a friend reached out to me on the Instagram post for my fairy patchwork dress and asked if I'd ever do commissions and asked if I'd make a custom dress for her. I thoroughly enjoyed making that dress and was so delighted to see how happy she was when she tried it on for the first time, so I'd love to do more commissions and custom dresses. It's just so much fun. I was also part of an art market through the coffee shop that I work at, and it was honestly one of my favorite days in the entire year. I was just so happy that day. It was wonderful. I brought my bags and some of the dresses that I made and some other clothes, and also lots of little crochet delights. And within the first half an hour, I sold one of my bags. For the rest of the entire day, I was just so happy. I just felt so delighted to have more of my creations go out into the world and to be surrounded by all of my lovely coworker friends who are doing the exact same thing. I also got to talk to a ton of super nice people who were really interested in my work, and I got to hand out some of my business cards, which I made this year. And I even got a few more followers on my Instagram and YouTube from the people that I met there, which was super cool. Besides all that, I got a new job that I love, I got engaged to the man I love, and we got this wonderful house. This year has definitely had a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of things that were just like all over the place. But when I line up everything together, the good definitely far outweighs the bad. I wish I could show myself from a year ago just how good things would be now a year later, and adjust her attitude a little bit, because I was definitely Anyway, I'm so grateful for how this year turned out, and I'm extremely grateful for everyone who has watched my videos this year. To Paul and Lily and my parents and my grandparents and all of my church friends, and to all the people who have left lovely comments, and to all the people who I have no idea who you are. I'm just so grateful, and I can't wait to see what this year holds. Goodbye.